gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
40.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, happy Friday. Welcome to Coffee with Captain. Appreciate y'all being here. Hope you're all doing well. I actually made a double posted abstract chat. I posted one as the abstract chat. I posted the other, I actually dropped the YouTube link. So you can disregard one of those, but I think I got the correct ones pinned up top. If you'd like to join us on video over on abstract, that's up top. They must have done for any of those that are deep in the abstract ecosystem, Katie or Meshmesh, I'm guessing they did some update to the portal. I went to go do it, and at first it wouldn't start the live stream, and then it logged me out, and something looked different when I logged back in, but I couldn't figure out what it was, and I was also somewhat in a hurry in real time attempting to get everything started here. I only got, I don't know what that is, 2.5 minutes during the intro video to get my opening task done, and I still haven't actually went and grabbed the Coffee with Captain. So I am a fan of Privy. I'm a fan of single sign-on. I don't like, and this is just a me thing. I get it for consumers. I don't like how if I do log out, I have to log in with my email, and then it emails me a code, and then I go get the. I know this is like first world problems, about as bad as it gets, or as not bad as it gets, probably more appropriately. But I just don't like it. I don't like having to go. It's much easier just to log in with a wallet, but because I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's another way to like link a Rabby wallet with Abstract, so I can just log in by that as opposed to the whole email code thing. Again, no one cares. I'm just going to move on. Actually, we've got a few minutes before we get into a big news day, actually, today. A lot to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about both an NFT resurgence as well as a representative of a leading NFT brand funding NFTs. Interesting take on the timeline. I'm not here to take shots, or I hope nothing's taken out of context, but I wouldn't be myself and wouldn't be authentic and genuine if I wasn't talking about something I saw that was on my mind. And I do think it's newsworthy. That said, before we get into the serious stuff, we've got at least 5 more minutes of conspiracies with Cap. So I'm going to go ahead and change the title. This is the best clickbaity title I can come up with. We're going to call it Aliens versus Predators. I feel that's fitting this morning. That won't stay for long. We do have Pons joining us to talk new, evolved creator capital. Wait, what am I calling it? Let me go back to YouTube and figure out what I called it there. Creator capital markets evolved. There, you got to hear it twice since I had the YouTube playback. I assume you guys can hear the YouTube playback when I go to YouTube to pull up the stream and it's not muted. Just need to change the title over on Abstract, and we are officially rolling. Got have my morning tasks open and knocked out there before we do get started. But yes, Aliens and Predators. I was joking, but kind of serious. We were talking about the NFT glory days, and in particular, the fact that if this was 2021, which it's not, and I don't see anyone saying that's coming back. In fact, if you can find a single person on this app that said, we're going to have another run for NFT PFPs like we had in 2021, please point my attention to it, because I'd like now, my timeline isn't perfect. My feed's not perfect. I'm sure there's things I miss. I'm certain of that. There's things I would love to see that I missed, but not much. And I've not seen or heard a single person say that, oh, we're going to have another bull run like we had in 2021. There's people that are still bullish NFTs. There's people still buying NFTs. There are people saying that, oh, we will have another run, or specific collections might have a comeback. But I have not seen a single take that the 2021 bull run mania is going to come back. It's not coming back. I'm bullish NFTs. NFT technology is great. I was referencing the everything token. Am I pointing that correctly? Yeah, I was referencing I got to get to my StreamYard. I was watching Abstract video, and it's if you've never done this, it's really Alien versus Child Predators, probably a little too aggressive, Otis. We're just gonna stick with that. We'll let people, you can fill in the blanks, you can connect those dots if you'd like. But Aliens versus Predators, if you missed it, Barack Obama said, yes, aliens are real. Trump then said he shared why am I drawing blank? Not confidential. The I don't know why I can't think this morning. I need to finish my coffee. Help me out. What word am I missing? Not confidential, but top secret, not top secret. Maybe confidential is the word. I don't know. My brain is really broken. This is great live video, live TV here. YouTube is not the best. Is the best for not getting rugged by X. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. We got Jesus and Joey coming up to help me out here and fill in my whatever word I'm missing. Anyways, if you did miss it, classified. Thank you, Hizzy. Jesus, how could I not think of classified? That's
why I came up, Cap. I was trying to help you out.
Yeah, I came up for that too. I'm
Jesus.
Like, get it out, get it out.
It's like
we all rushed the stage just to say classified. Yeah. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah,
we all just rushed the stage to say classified.
Much respect. Thank you very much. You can hang out and talk Aliens versus Predators for a minute or two if you'd like. Enjoying anything else we're going to talk about tomorrow. We do have, like I said, some exciting news to talk on. However, and I'm not complaining at all. I love what I do. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm very appreciative of our sponsors and the fact that I can do this for a living, and I don't consider it work. I'm an extremely fortunate individual that in my adult life, there's maybe a couple of year stretch after we sold and got acquired by a publicly traded company that I actually had to work for a few years and sit on some pointless Zoom meetings that I thought could have been an email. But I still love the brand I was building. It's still a passion project. So it wasn't like I wasn't out there digging ditches or cleaning toilets or anything. Actually, I did clean toilets back in my retail days because I wore 17 hats and I would never ask a team member to do anything I wasn't willing to do myself. That said, I'm very grateful to be here, very appreciative of this opportunity. And but if you don't think it can be challenging at times to speak publicly for 2+ hours, 5 days a week, and not sometimes just stumble, mispronounce things, can't think of a word. It happens more than you might think. And it is, so for those that host any sort of live show, like Payne is an incredible producer and he can fix a lot of my blunders. But like, I think of like Scott Hansen. I have the amount of respect I have for Scott Hansen, not just the fact that he can hold his bladder for 7 hours. I don't know how he does that, but the fact that he rarely, like it's so rare for him to slip up. He like doesn't say or like, or, you know, those filler words. He like never gets like, I just got hung up on couldn't think of classified. I like had a literal brain fart live in front of all you this morning. There's people that are so good at live TV. It's mind blowing to me. And I never had that appreciation until having done this. And then I can't think of a word like classified. I clearly know what classified is. Clear, it's not that difficult, but yet my brain just wasn't clicking on all cylinders. So Joey, Jesus, an idiot, and Hizzy in the chat. Thank you for helping me get through that. But yes, that was what was shared. Was Trump said he shouldn't have shared classified information, alluding that, oh, it is real. He wouldn't comment on it. But then later that day, he comes out with a post. I'll probably pull it up here in a second, where he says he had ordered all government agencies with that information to disclose it. So it's led to some funny memes. I have believed aliens are real for a while. We're not going to start a conspiracy with Cap show, but I just think it's the odds of there not being other intelligent life in a universe that is large as the one we live in is so minimal. Now, are aliens on this planet? I don't know, but it seems like we're going to get some evidence here soon that they are. I also at the same time think it's the timing of this. It's not a coincidence. It's probably, you know, Obama said something in an interview and that gave them the reason to, you know, gave them an out, gave them a reason to do this that doesn't look like it's just a, hey, look over here, look at this distraction, instead of continuing asking about the Epstein files. I'm not saying that the conflict in Iran is a distraction, but it's, I don't know. I think it's doesn't take a lot to connect at least the timing of this. If they're going to release alien files right now, when everyone else is looking for the other files, I don't even think that's conspiracy. I think that's probably logic and ration, just saying, yeah, that makes sense. That said, Joey, GM, hope you feel better soon. What, other than classified, what else brought you up this morning?
Yeah, I apologize if I sound terrible.
No apologies needed. Feel better, buddy.
Yeah, so I've you know, I'm Catholic. I don't think I would say I'm very religious. You know, like I believe, like, you know, we go to church on Sunday. I want my kids to learn about God, and most of the reason why, like, I want my children to learn that is because of a lot of the teachings are rooted in, like, you know, respect for your neighbor and, you know, being courteous and kind and all those things, right? Like, I think that there is some validity in a lot of the teachings. With that being said, though, I also like to consider myself like scientific as well, which most, you know, like heavy religious people are not scientific because, you know, they're taught, like, if you go against the teachings, you know, like Adam and Eve were created, you know, Eve was created from the rib of Adam and Adam was created from, you know, earth, you know, dirt and mud and whatever. So a lot of people that are religious aren't scientific, but I feel like if you've ever watched any of the, like, if you're into history stuff and you watch any of these shows where it's like, how did these ancient civilizations that existed, you know, thousands and thousands of years ago create such complex and like perfect, like when you go into like the pyramids and like the angle of the hallway is a perfect 90 degrees and everything lines up with the stars and true north and like all of these amazing mathematical calculations that, according to us, they didn't have telescopes and they didn't have protractors and they didn't have like all of these things. It's like, it makes you really question, like, was there some other, whether it's an alien race, or was there something that was, wiped from the planet, so I believe that we have been visited by other, I don't know if you want to call them aliens, other species, whatever it is, at different points in our history. And I think it's evidence of that is some of these amazing, like, architectural anomalies that we cannot even explain today, even though we have better technology and AI and all this stuff. So I'm here for it. I want to see if there's actually, like, aliens locked up in Area 51, or um, or if maybe they're, we just have certain tech. I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
I am as well. I also am not naive enough to think we're going to get all the information. One of the funnier memes I saw was the alien files, and it was like a picture of like the sky where you'd see a UFO, and then the UFO was redacted. I'm 99% certain that we're not going to get all the information on whatever information they do have. And I'm also okay with that. Like, if there is some edge, or there is some technology like that only the US has, I get that for national security purposes and otherwise. But yeah, it's you do see a lot of I'm sure every UFO fanboy is walking into their 9 to 5 today with their chest pumped out, blaring some Joe Rogan. But Jesus, go ahead and get in here, and then we'll go to an idiot.
I mean, wouldn't this, if there was evidence presented, and we're not going to see pictures of ET on X, like, but it's like, wouldn't this, like, really put the world in a state of chaos and destroy Christianity? And, like, I mean, because I don't know. I think it would be
Wouldn't
wild.
it destroy every religion?
Yeah.
What if Jesus was the alien?
That's what
exactly. Yeah, that's what. I mean, it's.
So can I
fucking
respond
wild.
to exactly that? First of all, Joey, I just wanted to say I think you're spot on about like, Catholicism is a great thing for people to learn, because it's basically the framework for the value system of Western civilization, whether you're religious or not. So I totally agree with that. I'm also not religious, but I go to church with my wife anyway, from time to time. But I would say that Catholicism is a very cherry-picked, like the Bible, Old Testament and New, is cherry-picked from the source materials, right? I mean, there is other books that didn't get included, like the Book of Enoch, where angels descended from heaven. I'm going on my Joe Rogan arc right now. Where angels descended from heaven and mated with man and birthed the Nephilim, the giants, and all of that. So, I mean, there's a lot of reason to buy into that. But the reason I would say that it doesn't necessarily destroy religion is because we all think of aliens as, tentacly, smooth-skinned, like octopus-looking creatures that came from some star system far, far away. The potential alternative is that they are actually from alternate dimensions, right? I mean, they could be from another dimension that we don't understand, or a parallel dimension or something like that. That I mean, like, we don't understand where consciousness even comes from. I mean, we could be. Lots of people have speculated that we are like antennas for consciousness, that is like a larger pool of consciousness that we are just receiving from.
Are we even in this space, Kyle? Like, is this like some made up? Are we sitting in a little bitty globe?
We could be in a simulation too, right? I mean, the potential is limitless for what reality really is. Like, the true wisdom is realizing that you know nothing, ultimately. But anyway,
do you believe in multiple timelines? Is that what you're saying? Like, you think there's multiple timelines, or?
I think that I am not wise enough to say that confidently that I think anything.
Hold on.
I think the best thing that you can possibly be is open-minded. Is the point that I'm making. And the last thing I wanted to say is I tweeted this morning that they are trying to distract us from the Epstein files with aliens. And if that doesn't work, I would stay out of major cities. And what I mean by that is, if this whole ploy doesn't work to distract, the potential for a 9/11 level event is very real, ladies and gentlemen. They they're not going to go. They will burn the shit before they sink with it. So,
bro, you have told me multiple times there's a more successful Jesus in another timeline. So, like, I do think.
Don't worry, Jesus. There's a more broke ass Jesus in another timeline too, dude.
I don't know how that
there's limitless variations, brother.
I'm actually thin somewhere, okay, and probably fully fit and muscular like Cap.
Wait, is Machiavelli in this timeline? I don't see him on stage.
He is.
He is.
We might get weird today. Pons is not going to have any idea what he's walking into. I will say this: my thoughts, and without spending the next 40 minutes talking aliens and predators, I would just say on the earlier take, you talk about required reading, and there's a lot of books on success principles. I think it would benefit most people. I think it'd be great if the majority of individuals, if not all, read religious books, whether it was the Bible or I've not read the Bible front to back. I grew up in church. I haven't attended church for years. I believe that I'm not the center of the universe, but I'm also not, I don't claim to know all the answers. I just think that a lot of success principles were derived directly from the Bible. To the earlier point that the core values that are taught, the teachings of Jesus in the Bible, like, it's good stuff. It really is. And while a lot of successful individuals will attribute, their success to, praise God or praise Jesus, like, I don't know what is actual fact, but what I do believe is a lot of successful individuals, they attribute their success to a higher power. I also think that they live those ways. They actually deploy and lean into a lot of those success principles. They're just not called success principles in the Bible, but I'll be forever grateful that my parents did, take me to church as a kid and taught core values and those success principles before I even realized what they were, before I, like the golden rule, do unto others as you want to have done to yourself. Like, just be a good person, be a good human, be a good neighbor. Like, that stuff it's hard to argue with those teachings. Remove the cosmic higher power,
the dogma.
Yeah, like, remove that stuff and just, like, focus on the actual content. It's good stuff, and it's hard to debate that. It's is anyone going to say, no, you shouldn't be kind, you shouldn't help other people? Like, I just, there's a lot of good learnings there, regardless of, and I think this is the case in most religions. And to the point of, like, would aliens destroy religion? I don't know. I think it could go the other way. I think it could be, it could be proof of a higher power, and I don't know. We're getting further down the that rabbit hole than I might thought, but yeah, I'm sure Payne is really enjoying the Payne probably is enjoying this, because this is the sort of stuff, conspiracy talk, religious talk, like, this does numbers on YouTube, and maybe this is what we need to do is spin up a separate conspiracies with Cap, Christianity with Cap, Catholicism with Cap, all the C religions we can do a bit on and grow our. I'm not sure if that audience would be interested in crypto and NFTs, but certainly some new listeners for sure. Let's go back to Machiavelli, and then we'll get Joey back in here.
On the next Coffee with Captain, the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Book of Enoch. Now, I think that really that I'm kind of confused. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I had no idea what we're even talking about, or if they even started to release some alien stuff. I read something about Obama saying something, and then Trump immediately saying that he was going to release some files to, like, disprove that aliens existed. That's where my understanding comes from on all of this. So, but I love the title Alien versus Predator, because these sons of bitches would throw aliens in your face just to, like, push the Epstein files underneath the table and make everybody not pay attention. I do believe that.
Should we change the title?
The really funny part is he did it in the most Trump way possible, because he was like, Oh, Obama, he said something that's classified that he shouldn't have said, but I'm such a nice guy that I'll declassify it so he doesn't get in trouble.
I can't do it. I can't. Not only can I not impersonate others with voice, I'm not even going to attempt to do the Trump dance. But he was doing the Trump dance when he saw.
Oh,
that.
bro,
He's like,
yeah, he was like, "Oh, these are gonna be big, beautiful aliens," and like whatever. Like,
I can't
That
wait.
Obama has no idea. These are very fine aliens. The aliens came all the way across. They're right here.
They got across the wall.
It's also not lost on me that we inked not one but two new long-term multi-month sponsor agreements yesterday in our first show after those before the ink even dried, before the electronic signatures even dried. We hard pivot into aliens versus predators and religion on Coffee with Captain. GM, welcome to the show. Joey, go ahead.
There's like the U.S. government, Area 51, whatever you want to call it, are not the only like files that we'll probably never see the light of day of. Like for people that don't know, if Vatican City has the Vatican Archives, which probably has way more information than any government in the world probably has, with all the stuff that's buried. I mean, if you've ever watched, the Da Vinci Code and like that series of 3 movies with Tom Hanks, like, yes, they're movies, but man, they really make you question like what is being held back from the 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 people of the world. And part of the reason why, and this is maybe me like, the conspiracy in me, is part of the reason why I think a lot of it is held back is I don't think most people can handle like what is really out there and what is quote unquote classified. I mean, look at what happened when COVID hit, and the way people reacted with how we sold it, or like hurricanes and whatever, like the way people react to things, like we sell out of toilet paper, and like people just go so far off the deep end. Like I don't think if we ever got to look inside the Vatican archives or what was going on at Area 51, I don't think most of the population could handle it. So I'm not saying that I believe the government should keep secrets. I'm not saying that. I just think that some of it probably should just stay away.
Yeah. I mean, probably on many things beyond just aliens, but it's going to be interesting. I also think we probably don't see anything. I actually would not be surprised if around 5 o'clock today, after markets close, we get both the alien files drop as well as potentially some update on Iran, and then we see some sort of resolution come Monday morning. Like this is the playbook that they've been running for a while now, and would not surprise me in the least bit. So all that to be said, perfect segue into some actual.
All right, Cap. One last thing. I will say I got into this like rabbit hole of watching all the Alien versus Predators on the correct timeline. I will say it is one of like, for people that are like want to go through something from start to finish. There's a chronological order to watch Aliens and Predator movies, because there is the crossover of Alien versus Predator. It's an amazing franchise when you go through it from like start to finish. So if you're a movie person, I would suggest giving it a shot. Go chronologically, not chronological release, chronological like timeline of all the Alien vs. Predator movies.
Here's my
Sigourney Weaver is the weirdest kind of smoking hot in the first movie too.
That's maybe the first time in my life I've heard Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I know what the fuck.
Watch the first. You guys think of Sigourney Weaver from Avatar. Watch the first Predator movie, and
Sigourney Weaver is super hot in Avatar, though. What are you talking about,
bro? What the Cap? You got to pivot, bro.
So yeah, here's what we're gonna do just to help warm up the show. I have kind of stopped asking for the likes, reposts, and bookmarks. I do appreciate it. I am gonna ask for it on the audio spaces so we can get this room warmed up before Pons joins us here in about a half an hour. And then to hit your favorite chat, whether you're in the YouTube video, whether you're in the X video, whether you're on Abstract. This is a real request. I'm genuinely curious. I am all caught up on shows, so now I have to wait until actually we get a new pit tonight. Really excited for Night of Seven Kingdoms drop on Sunday. I think it's the finale, I guess. We got House of Dragon coming soon. I think that kicks back off in June. But I'm all caught up on shows. So I need either an old series that I can go back and actually, you know what? I started watching Night Manager. It's only got 2 seasons. It's older, but pretty decent. But I need some filler content to fall asleep to. So tell me, what is your top 3 alien shows, alien movies, a series? Someone said Paul earlier on Pingu Space. I've not.
Really
Ancient
good.
Aliens. Ancient Aliens is a great one. 100%.
Tell me in the chat your favorite alien movies or alien shows. I was not familiar with Paul, never heard it. I added that to my list. But yeah, I need I'm full porting into alien content over the weekend. And
Cap, if you haven't seen Badlands from Predator, watch Predator Badlands. It is so
No, I think he means Machiavelli. I think he means like actual like alien conspiracy shows, not like
based off of true life.
No,
Don't you know that Trump's releasing the files?
I'm good with either. I'm good with if it's like actual like documentaries or real stuff, or if it is, you know, allegedly fiction. Just anything alien related, I will add to the list, and especially if it gets mentioned multiple times. So
yeah, I'll send you the chronological order to watch all the Alien Predator movies.
Perfect. So here's what we're going to do. We got 30 minutes to get through the news today, and then we are going to talk creator capital markets with Pawns and the Xeet team. Eddie says he's watching Game of Thrones for the 3rd time. It gets better every time, I swear. I am really hopeful and optimistic that someone redoes the last season using AI, and I will watch it. That's the AI content I'm here for. Is fix a great show that got ruined by some showrunners that didn't know what they were talking about. Zonko, I did see this as well. This is my last comment on aliens, but supporting Joey's theory earlier. Scientists mapped 1 millimeter. Not even 1 millimeter, 1 mm3, I don't know how to say that properly, of the human brain, less than a grain of rice, and a microscopic cosmos appeared. Pretty insane. I did see this, and I saw it compared to like the compute it would take. I don't see it in this post, but it was mind-blowing. The amount of, and that's just, yeah, here we go. So this tiny speck is about half the size of a grain of rice, contained a staggering 57,000 cells, 230 mm of blood vessels, and 150 million synapses. The project required a decade of work and generated 1.4 petabytes of data, equivalent to 14,000 4K movies, just to capture a single cubic millimeter at nanoscale resolution. And it like compared that to like, okay, if like what it would take to do that for the entire brain, and it would be more data than exists in the world today in one single brain. Just mind-blowing stuff. We are very complex creatures, and grateful to be alive. I'm not sure who Gary Vee actually just talks about this, the fact that you're here, that you're alive. Those odds are pretty insane. Zonko adds, best alien movie of all time is definitely the OG Alien, but I really liked Alien Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Both really great updates on the old IP and build out. I did also enjoy Prometheus. That's it. We are hard pivoting into NFT land. We're going to, crypto majors are, like, they seem like they're flat, but it's a volatile chop. Fear and Greed. I saw someone say that Fear and Greed dropped to 7. It's showing 12 on my end, but majors are pretty much flat. Bitcoin's up 1%, but it dipped all the way down to 65,000. ETH is flat. Just the same story with majors for the most part. Solana up 2% to $82. Pretty flat across the board, but it is very choppy. So if you're trading, especially if you're trading perps, be careful out there. Don't walk away from a computer. I do think today is likely to be extremely volatile, and if it follows prior trends of announcements of any sort coming out of this administration, it probably drops 4:30, 5 o'clock this evening. Just keep that in mind. If you have any open trades, you may want to think about closing them before the end of before markets close. TradFi markets close today. Now, what's not choppy, what is I think pretty exciting, it's not coming back to the 2021 bull run. Absolutely not happening. However, what is happening is NFT mints are cooking, like really cooking. Not all, but pretty exciting if you ask me. And I said it before, it's time to start paying attention. A lot of these mints are free to low cost mints, and glitchy bunnies. It hasn't been out yet. It's like 2,100 to 25. I think we talked about that yesterday. Normies up 353% on the day to 0.05 ETH. Del Mundo's up 34% to 0.14 ETH. Net Citizens up 61% to 0.06 ETH. This was a 0.03 mint. Del Mundo's was like 0.003 or something. It's up huge in a month or so. Normies just minted. It's up big. Like, this is a 10,000 supply collection. 10,000 supply collection.
Did you catch why Netizens pumped yesterday?
What was it?
Did you catch why the Netizens pumped yesterday?
No, I didn't. What happened? Or what did they announce?
They just announced a burn mechanic, so you can burn 5 of them to get like a one-of-one or something from the artist.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Netizens is 4,400 collection, 4,400 supply, 4,432. Del Mundo's is 10K. Normies is 10K. I did not expect this. You know, Del Mundo's on mainnet. Normies also on mainnet. Gui at 0.2. Like, I know there's NFTs on Solana. I know Ape Chain's the home of NFTs. I know Mega ETH is the new exciting chain. Oh, by the way, there, look, if I can get this right, Cody's mint down a little bit on the day, but still 0.08 ETH. Also on mainnet. I think if we're talking NFTs long term, no, the bubble is burst. The bull market, NFT PFP bull market is not coming back. NFTs aren't going anywhere. It's programmable technology. You can do a lot with the tech. And I still believe it is a great way to build community, to build brand ambassadors, unlike maybe anything that's come prior. I think a lot more can be done with it. I think too many of these teams have moved away from utility NFTs. And I get utility debt can be a challenge, but it also can be good. And there's ways that you can navigate it. Shout out to Good Vibes Club. I mean, they haven't even hit their year anniversary yet. 0.89 ETH. It was a 0.069 mint. You know, up big. Poppy acquired Quirkies. They're up to 0.86. These are, so you got a legacy collection. They got a new was sold, acquired by someone who was deep in that collection. You got a brand new mint that's less than a year old. You've got these new mints that are really showing some motion and some volume. It can be done. I mentioned yesterday that OpenSea, part of their rewards program, they gave allow list for glitchy bunnies. Like, but yet so many of the NFT teams have went away from that for whatever reason. They just want to be an art collection. They just want to be a digital collectible. It's not an or, it's an and. You can do that and align with your holders. You can do that and provide utility, provide value in terms of access, and access can be gated chats. It can be events. It can be allow lists for upcoming mints. There's I'm not saying they should all be dropping, tokens and trying to, create magical internet money. But unless you think crypto's dying and just going away, I don't know. I really struggle to understand some of the moves some of these teams are making. And I alluded to one earlier. I'm going to show it. It's not an attack, but I shared it in the worm. I'm going to share it here. Like, Shiv had a post yesterday that it made me scratch my head. I like Shiv. I have nothing against him. I'm just shocked to see this coming from someone who's rocking a Pudgy badge. Says the NFT space has a denial problem. People who think the NFT market will come back are delusional. As I said earlier, who thinks that? I've not seen a single person say. I've seen a lot of takes like this. I don't know. Maybe it's just a new form of engagement farming, but I've seen a lot of takes like this. People saying all that people they quote other people. Who are those people? I don't know anyone that thinks the 21 market is coming back. They would be delusional. I agree there, but I don't see anyone saying that. So is this just a coping mechanism? I don't know. But he says the reality is the market has already told you what it thinks. It's moved on. companies that are worth paying attention to right now are the ones that looked at a dying business model and had the balls to burn it down before the market did it for them. This is where they've taken new verticals, audiences, and revenue that doesn't depend on people flipping JPEGs for a living. Don't end up being the next project to post a shutdown announcement because you're stuck waiting. Now, I wholeheartedly agree that NFT PFP brands should not be solely relying on royalties as their business model. That model, you shouldn't be doing that, but it can absolutely be part of it. See Good Vibes Club. See anyone that's on a royalty protected contract. And there's now easy ways to do that. A little bit of foreshadowing. Tune in Monday. We're gonna have an exciting conversation regarding this exactly. I don't understand the take. I mean, people are entitled to their own opinions. I don't understand the take from a PFP native team. And even today, you can get abstract XP bonus for holding a Pudgy. You get access to their events for holding a Pudgy. What I don't understand is hey, Pudgy collectibles do well. Why not give first access to holders? Why there's just so it's not a PvP, so it's not me attacking Pudgies. I'll say the same thing about Bored Apes. Not the exact same thing, but they just launched some new merch, some Baldwin merch. Why not give first dibs to holders? I don't care. It's not that deep to me. Even if I did have access, I'm not rushing out to buy a beanie or a scarf. I live in Florida, and even though I wear hoodies all the time, I don't need any more beanies in my life. So I will give them credit. They do have at least a member exclusive jacket. I'm glad they made this. They ran back this original design, but they added the zipper, so it's not exactly like the OG one. But I love that this is a member exclusive. But there's so many other easy misses here that they launched this vault drop. Why not make at least one of those member exclusive, or for a limited period of time, for the first 24 hours, members get dibs on this. I think it's as much as the optics. It's as much as showing alignment with your holder base as it is driving a ton of sales that way. They drop these posters as member exclusive. So I guess they're making somewhat of an effort, but things like, I don't know, free shipping for members, or you spend $100, you get one of these posters for free. To me, there's some low-hanging fruit that these NFT PFP brands, not just Pudgy, all of them could be doing. And yet it seems to me, instead of doing that, most of them are running the other direction, or using the fact that royalties are now not what they once were as some excuse, we're just a digital collectible. Why? It doesn't. You can be that and more, and that was part of the beauty of NFTs. You want to I kind of, where I net out on this is, ask the team, why should I buy your NFT now? Other than just speculating on it's a collectible and it might go up in future value in the future. If that's all it is, fine. I'm not buying your NFT if that's all it is. Oh, it's great art. Okay, I don't need any more digital art right now. Maybe at some point in my life I'll go collect a squiggle or something. But why, if we're talking NFT PFPs, why should I buy your NFT? Oh, you get access to an annual event at Ape Fest. You get access to the clubhouse. Okay, that's something. Does it justify the current floor price? I don't know. But if you're talking a lifetime membership, it's something. I would just like to see more of the somethings, some more experimenting. Part of that 21 Mania wasn't just number go up. It was at least every month, if not every week, we were seeing a team attempt to do something new, some new form of experimentation. That was fun. That was part of the fun in this space. And instead of attempting to do new stuff, we're finally starting to see teams lean into retail holidays. Said that from the jump. That was some low-hanging fruit they should be doing. Instead of just randomly selling stuff to your holders, create an event around it. Give them, and then give them some sort of special access. One of the coolest things, the early things of utility, was gated merch drops. Now, I know by itself a gated merch drop is not going to send the floor price. I'm not talking floor. I'm talking alignment. And why not do this stuff? Why, I don't, what is in it for the CEOs of a company? What's in it for them? Retaining your most loyal brand ambassadors? Maybe I'm the only one in this space that thinks like this, but I think there's a lot of people here that are questioning, why should I buy this NFT or why should I continue to hold this thing? I'm not looking for a dollar on dollar return. I'm just looking for some perk that I get for being part of your community that's a little different than what an outsider can get. This used to be just universally accepted, and now it's like people look at me like I'm crazy or like, why would a team do that? Like, why not? It doesn't cost them. I mean, if they're giving you free shipping to holders, that's going to cost them. It's going to dilute their margins. Yeah, but I bet they would sell more. I'm not going to name names, but there's what used to be some regarded as the blue chip NFT collection that has continued to do drops, and they did one, I think December, that was a relatively low supply, low quantity, and not even sold out yet. And I think part of the reason, because why like the exclusivity, it's also, it drives, I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I don't want like Ponzi games. I'm not saying create fake scarcity, but it's not just a crypto thing. It's not just a Web3 thing. It's like, why do you think the supplies of PlayStations and Xboxes when they launch are limited? Because that scarcity creates demand and leads to higher sales on the secondary market. Pudgy's a great example. Like their vinyls, their plushies, maybe not the plushies, but their vinyls sell for a premium. Why not give your holders that perk? Like, what bad can come from that? If you just you're only going to drop 100 of these, why not give your holders that perk first? You're dropping a new card. Why not give holders of your asset the higher tier? Maybe it's not the black tier, but there's something in between that if you hold a Pudgy, you get not 12% rewards at the top level, but you're going to get 7%. You're going to get 1%. Like little things like that. I'm not saying any of this stuff is going to justify by itself will justify the current floor price of any NFT collection. But I think it does matter. I think it matters a lot. And from an active participant, I'm looking for reasons to collect other NFTs, or what should I rotate into? And it's like pulling teeth to try to get a reason from a lot of these brands. It's like, it's a digital collectible. Okay, where's the and? And it's a lot of this stuff isn't. I think it's almost as simple as the retail holiday thing. It's just many have. I don't know. I don't understand the logic on going so far in the other direction. But Joey, thoughts on this? And then if anyone else has any thoughts, feel free to get in here.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about, like the other day we were talking about Amazon Prime versus YouTube TV or YouTube Premium. Like it's really not hard to maybe at these prices. Let me rephrase that. Maybe at like, $10,000, it's a little harder. But like there's a store by me. It's like one of those super bin stores where they buy all the Amazon pallets, and you get to go in there and buy stuff for $15 a month. And all you get for $15 a month is they email you like the day before they're restocked, the night before they're restocked, and they're like, "Hey, aisle E is where you can find the iPads," but it's mixed in with like thousands of items, and people pay this $15 every single month just to be notified on like which aisle they could potentially find like the best deal. Amazon Prime's a great example. I pay for Amazon Prime because I want free shipping. I want Amazon Prime TV. I want Amazon Music, all included in that. Like it doesn't have to be, to your point, a dollar for dollar return. Why do we pay to have like if I was I am a Pudgy holder. I hold a little Pudgy, and I don't need you to give me free money. That's not what I'm asking for. But if you're going to release a limited, I have the Nouns Pudgy glass, the Nouns glasses, bigger Pudgy vinyl. I think if you're going to release stuff like that, why not say like, as a holder, you get first access and you get 10% off. And we're talking about future stuff, not like what they did in the past. And this is for any project. Like, give me a small discount, like 10%. In the grand scheme, on $100 item is $10. Maybe it cuts into your margin a little, but as a holder, it feels really good knowing that I get a discount. And it's not, maybe it doesn't, like to your point, equal the $10,000, but there are really simple ways that we've seen people do this in retail to reward their most loyal people. And I don't know why it's rejected in Web3 so much, where it's like the only way, if I'm not giving you free money, then you're not getting value. No, there's a lot of ways to give value here. And regarding the new NFT collections, the one thing I've noticed with a lot of these new NFT collections, the ones that basically have an Insta reveal are the ones that people are most excited about. Like the days of like holding your reveal for 7, 10, 14 days after mint out are gone. Like people don't want that mystery anymore. So if you're like launching an NFT collection, like just Insta reveal, let people see what you've done and let them trade on the traits and things that they want.
Well said. I agree. Other than I still enjoy the reveal. I like the reveal game. I think especially now that we're seeing a little bit of momentum with some of these new NFT mints, is bring that back. I enjoy that element of you mint and we got to run up pre-reveal. Do I sell this? Do I hold? I like the reveal element of NFT mints. But where I would agree with you is, I thought, still do, that NFTs unlock new opportunities when it comes to loyalty rewards programs. Things that you can do it better with these assets. You can do it better on chain than you can off. Let's use, I don't know, tickets for an example. You can, very hard to identify your fan base with paper physical tickets or email lists. Much easier if there's NFTs that gate access to an upcoming concert ticket drop. I think, again, to keep pumping, by the way, everything token's available on Amazon. I'll go get a current link if you've not yet checked it out. I strongly recommend it. I think the majority, if not all the thesis that Steve and Scott wrote about in there, it still works. It still holds true. Some are doing it. But a lot of these NFT PFP brands who were leading the way originally and were doing a lot of new things for brand loyalty, for brand ambassadors, for loyalty reward programs, it seems that many of them just stopped. And I can't understand why. Because you want brand ambassadors. Dora says it. Those advocates market harder than any paid campaign ever will. Without alignment, every mechanic a team drops feels like the team is just farming the holders. I agree. Misaligned holders also tend to revolt when the team decides to experiment. In his experiment, misaligned projects all haul out faster in the bear projects. Just like a few reasons, I could keep going, but YouTube has like spot on. Dort's also someone I think communities would love to have him in their collection, not just from a holder standpoint. He's a great brand ambassador. He's a great community member. He's a community leader. And it's just, it seems so, it seems like the low-hanging fruit that they're just, for whatever reason, a lot of these teams just aren't going and grabbing that fruit. And and it's wild to me because it used to be the case. It used to be better than most Web2 loyalty programs. We talked about Net Promoter Score yesterday, and NPS it went from being better to most of them now are worse. Oh, I hold this $5,000, $10,000 asset, and I get very little, if anything, from it, other than I have this digital collectible. I'm not saying everyone has to go this route, but some that have these, very loyal advocates, great brand ambassadors. Someone asked why would a CEO want to do this? Well, why is because you want to keep those net promoters. You want to keep those brand ambassadors. I wholeheartedly agree with Dor that those brand ambassadors, they advocate and harder than any paid campaigns will, any paid KOLs will. This is also, I see Pons joined us out in the audience. We got about 6 minutes here, and then we will bring on our special guest of the day. Actually, perfect setup, I feel, to bring on Pons and talk about creator capital markets and aligning brands, and not just aligning brands and creators, but aligning brands and creators and supporters. And I don't know, I'm maybe reaching at straws here, but maybe part of the reason they went away from this, when I say they, NFT PFP brands went away from utility and access and perks, loyalty rewards for the holders. Maybe it was because a lot of them leaned hard into InfoFi leaderboards, and instead of aligning and putting value back into their holder base, they decided to go pay Kaido $100,000 to get on the leaderboard, and that just led to a bunch of AI slop and fake ambassadors. People would talk about their brand, but they didn't care. They weren't vested. One of the things that I know we're not, this isn't an InfoFi conversation, but one of the things that Xeet started doing before X nerfed the APIs was aligning not just what they were talking about, but aligning, are you active on the platform? Are you holding assets? And not that you had to be, but it provided a multiplier, provided bonuses. Like that sort of stuff matters. And I know it's not easy. When I'm not trying to downplay it. I don't envy any of these founders. They've had to pivot and go through multiple different evolutions. But Steve, you can ask. You got to run the playback. I've been pumping everything token all morning because what you and Scott wrote about, it does hold true today. Just because the market's down, just because prices are down, it doesn't change the technology. And I can't for the life of me understand why so many of these brands decided to go away from what I think is the next generation of loyalty rewards program and brand ambassadorship, and they know who their true fans are. Well, I don't know. Don't you want to keep those true fans? Don't you want to keep that alignment? And maybe that's the reason why is some just feel there's just too much utility debt. Too many people bought in for utility when the price was higher, and without saying it, they want to churn those people out. They want to, floor it and GTFO. We want a new base in with different, new base of people that just want to collect digital collectibles. And if we ever provide any utility or perks or access, again, it's a bonus, not an expectation. Enjoying the conversation, though. We got a few minutes here. I am going to hand it to an idiot, and then Joey or Cheesus, if you don't mind, if an idiot gets done, I'm going to go refill my coffee real quick before we switch over to our special guest. So if you can give me maybe 30, 60 seconds of air cover if an idiot gets done, I would greatly appreciate it. An idiot, the floor is yours. And stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. If you haven't yet, quick reset. Hit us with a like or repost, a bookmark on the space. I'm lacking some Alien movie comments in all the chats. But go help us get this thing warmed up before we bring Pawns on here. An idiot, go ahead.
Hey, chap, beautiful introduction. I'm going to hand this to an idiot. I'm sorry. Go ahead, an idiot.
Thank you. I'm flattered. I was just going to say quickly on the reveal thing. I love a manual reveal. I think that's the best way to do a reveal. Give it to the community. Leave it up to them whether they want to reveal them or not. I think that's the most optimal way to do it. Maybe the most interesting thing reveal-wise I ever saw was what Final Bosu tried to do. Unfortunately, it did not work, but they did a thing where there was I forget if it was 4 or 5 different categories of their NFTs, and they kind of revealed one at a time over the course of a period of time. But they revealed in order of rarity. So you didn't want your NFT to reveal because the longer it didn't reveal, the more rare it was, kind of. I thought that was interesting. Unfortunately, the mechanics didn't work out very well, but anyway, other than that, I would just say I don't disagree that 2021, minting and printing, every single day something's going to multiple ETH. Yeah, that's definitely not coming back. But I do think that NFTs as a vanity item purely with not necessarily a lot of other value, I think that does come back. I think right now everybody's just burnt on them. But I do think that over a long enough time, as digital identity becomes more important, the blue chips that can not run out of runway and just not die, I think that they will be very valuable. I think a lot of those NFTs, PFP wise, will see a big spike in value over a long time frame as just the digital identity thing becomes more and more prevalent again. We just saw this. It was just a big false bubble because of COVID, right? But, by the time it was all over and the bubble had popped, digital identity was still more important than it was beforehand. It just wasn't, at the pico schmico top of the COVID vibes. But I do think, especially with augmented reality and virtual reality and metaverses and things like that. I don't see how, as we move forward in the timeline, digital identity doesn't just continue to become more and more important and more valuable. And people will pay stupid prices for vanity things that are, far and above beyond the cost of the material that it took to make the thing. Brands, just pure brand name on its own is enough to make something very valuable. Anyway, that's what I would say about all of that.
Well said.
Yo, can I get in a hot take real quick? Because I just did a cool mint.
Well, I feel, Machiavelli, I think that an idiot was actually queuing you up to pump your metaverse bags, your other side, your other games bags by talking about digital identity there. But yeah, take it wherever you'd like, and then we will shift you over to Creator Capital
Uncle
Markets.
Mac just did this big fat cats mint and we did it on Twitter in space. And what you did was, it's like, you put like the name of the cat, your wallet address or something in this post that he created, and it literally minted you an NFT for free. Okay. The kicker is that you would have to pay 10 ape and if you wanted to reveal the NFT, but you got to name the cat and do all these things. So like everybody was getting their names and stuff. But the kicker was like, do you hold the cat in the box and you don't see what kind of cat's in the cage, or do you pay the 10 ape and reveal it? And then there's also other metrics where you could like sit there and rename the cat for a certain amount and stuff like that. But it was really cool because everybody wanted to participate in this situation. They all did. They minted like up to 10 per wallet or whatever. But essentially, you got to choose at that point. And the DJ thing they were doing is trading the NFT before they even, if they used somebody else's name, they were selling that for a particular price or so on and so forth. So I just think that there is still creative ways to garnish that attention and that metric for NFT collecting and stuff like that. And that's something that I took part in just the other day that I had a lot of fun with. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just wanted to bring that up. Thank you so much. Excited to hear about Xeet.
Yeah, thanks, Machiavelli. I appreciate it. And yeah, more experimentation, do new things, like experiment with the tech, have some fun with the tech. As we bring on pawns here, what I said, it's not I'm excited for Creator Capital Markets. Is it an opportunity to potentially monetize content more? Yeah, but actually, I'm more excited about the opportunity for, I feel as if this can bring back some alignment and bring back both from not just NFT PFP brands, but this is, I'm not saying these teams are lazy either. It seems like so many have went in the opposite direction, like running away from any sort of utility or access. Some are like saying, no, we're just an art collection. We're just, we're just a digital collectible. Now they didn't used to be, but we can't do that stuff anymore because royalties went away. Well, they don't have to be going away. Like you can bring them back if you choose. You're choosing not to, so that's just an excuse. Now, are you going to make royalties that you made in 2021, 2022? No, and it shouldn't be your only source of income. But again, if we're talking loyalty rewards and brand ambassadors, and you'd be hard pressed to find thousands of individuals that are so passionate about your startup so quickly, like you can find on chain in the world of specifically. I know, yes, some meme coins can, but I feel those come and go. And here we are 5 years later, and you still have really passionate brand ambassadors for these brands. I think it's in the best interest of those brands to keep those passionate supporters. Pons, GM, sir, appreciate you. Before we get into all things Xeet, I'm not sure how much you caught of the earlier conversation. We don't have to go back to aliens versus predators, but any comments or thoughts on anything you did hear there regarding NFT PFP collections and alignment and driving utility and perks, loyalty rewards, if you will, to their holder base?
Yeah, I can talk to that, but just out of curiosity, because I didn't hear the context, what started the conversation or debate on it?
So, and I will pull it back up, but I don't want this to be taken out of context because I do like Shiv. I'm not fudding pudgy penguins. I just was a little surprised to see a take yesterday that Shiv said, the NFT space has a denial problem. People who think NFT 2021 market will come back are delusional. I agree. I also don't see people saying that. I haven't seen that take. I've seen a lot of people give that counter or say it's people who, but I haven't seen actually anyone say that mania is coming back. He said it's moved on. Companies that are worth paying attention to are the ones that looked at a dying business model, had the balls to burn it down before the market did it for them. This is where they've taken new verticals, audience, and revenue that doesn't depend on people flipping JPEGs for a living. Don't end up becoming the next project to post a shutdown announcement because you're stuck waiting. And my point was, well, I agree, teams should not rely solely on royalties or people flipping JPEGs. I don't think it can be an and. You can build businesses and generate revenue in other verticals while at the same time showing alignment with your holder base. And I use some examples of like, whether it be, gated vinyl drops or exclusive merch drops. And I know all those things by themselves are not, going to send the floor price flying, but I think it helps holders and supporters justify why they're holding the asset. If you ask a lot of NFT PFP teams, like, why should I hold your asset, or why should I buy this? A lot of them, they don't really have an answer, or it's a digital collectible. It's like, okay, that's not instilling a lot of excitement or encouraging me to continue to hold or to jump in that collection. And I'm not looking for dollar on dollar return or magical internet money. But someone said, I think Joey said that, there's a lot of Web 2 loyalty programs that are far better than just the basic ones. They're better than Web 3. And part of what I think the value in these NFTs, this programmable technology is it helps you identify fandom, and it helps you identify who your most ardent, loyal supporters are. And I think it would behoove a lot of these brands to lean into that, in addition to building their businesses and multiple streams of revenue.
Okay, yeah. So I would say a couple of things on that one. So a Web 2 loyalty brand or a Web 2 loyalty program is a little bit different than a Web 3 loyalty program would be, because as part of that loyalty program, you're continually buying things and generating revenue for the Web 2 brand. And I think part of the issue that a lot of founders have now is, as you were talking about, the market didn't work the way they thought it was going to be. The frogs have, to your point, have migrated. We still get royalties, but a lot of those other projects did not. And so, like, if you buy an ape, for an example, for, I don't know what they're going for now. Is it $10,000, $12,000? How much is an ape today?
Roughly about 13.
13. Okay, so if you buy an ape today for 13,000, and then you considered it being part of the loyalty program, and we can debate, how much Yuga has made in the past, and that's not really the point. I'm just using this as an example. The Yuga made zero revenue on that $13,000 ape. You paid a lot for that ape. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Even today's by today's standards, or even 2021 standards, $13,000 is a lot for a JPEG. But they made no revenue. So then, when you're saying add utility, are you saying a discounted thing or a free thing, or what is? It depends on what you define utility as. Because if they made no revenue on a $13,000 purchase, and then that person is expecting to be a part of a loyalty program, it just makes it difficult. So I mean, there's a lot of things that people can say to that, but I think that is that goes to a lot of the heart of the matter. But let's just say they had royalties, and they were 10% royalties, and they made $1,300. Yeah, for sure. And in that instance, there should be some benefit utility that person gets for providing $1,300 in revenue to Yuga. But then the question is for how long? Like, how long should they provide utility on that $1,300? And I think this is not a new problem. This is things that, I think you and I were talking about this a long time ago. This is the main problem of how NFT projects started, and I think a lot of people are trying to figure out ways to do what you're saying in a sustainable way. But the problem has always been the churn, the holder churn, and in the past it was a problem of having a higher cost basis on this holder churn and people expecting an ROI on that higher cost basis. Now it's a different problem. Now you got a lot of people that had the higher cost basis, volumes down. Even if you have royalties, there's nothing coming in. And so I agree with your whole premise, which is that there is no better way, or that's the whole reason I'm here, is I think there is no better way of building a brand than with a community that wants to help build a brand.
Exactly.
And you've seen that with Pudgy and what they've done. But I think that to me, that's the heart of the problem. That, and the other thing I would say is all the things you talked about are, like if Luca came out and did a merch drop, or Yuga did a merch drop, or whatever, there might be a few people that are excited about that. And the rest of the timeline would be dogging them, saying this isn't 2021, this isn't 2022. What are they doing merch? So they're also in a position of, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Understood. And I guess just to level, I'm not expecting, if I were to buy any of these, if I buy an ape for whatever, and even if there was $1,300 in royalty, I'm not expecting $1,300 of value. One example I use is like on the Bored Ape Yacht Club merch site, which they do have some member exclusives, is like, oh, if you're a holder and you spend $100, you get a free pair of socks, or you get free shipping, or if there's a vinyl drop, which Pudgy still does a great job with their vinyl drops. They often sell on secondary for more than what they're sold for at retail. Maybe for the first 24 hours, it's exclusive to holders. And like, I think those are little things that I just, as a active participant, someone who's been here for 5 years, it's some of the stuff that excited me about this space, and that this idea of loyalty and brand ambassadors. And I do think these people still exist. We're still here. And why not lean into that? It doesn't need to be dollar for dollar, but just I think it's as much showing the intent, showing that alignment, as it is like real hard utility that you're trying to calculate a dollar, evaluate and help, make the floor price make sense, or make what you paid for it made sense. Just a couple of data points. And then Joey, if you got a quick question, let you get in here. And then I do want to talk like what Pawns is building and Xeet, and how this could potentially help this issue and help drive more alignment with these brands and the active participants here. In the last month alone, Good Vibes Club has generated $113,000 in royalties. Del Mundo's, a brand new mint, has generated $108,000 in royalties. Pudgy's generated $62,000 in royalties. Bored Apes, $55,000 in royalties. I get it. Is that what it was at the peak? No, but it's not nothing. Two of those are well over $1 million a year run rate. Quirky's, 43,000. Of that list, Good Vibes Club, Del Mundo's, and Quirky's migrated to a royalty protected contract, as you mentioned. Moonbirds is on this list. They're number 7 in the last month at 35,000. And they haven't moved to a royalty protected contract. And I think that's a miss. I think that at least giving the option, and maybe there's some additional perks there. I know maybe that's a whole nother conversation we don't have to get into today, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of these teams leaned into this early. Now, many of them are, I don't know, maybe it is a utility debt. It's a tough position to be in. Things have changed, but I do think loyal brand ambassadors matter, and the bang for buck in terms of those small perks, just showing that alignment. I think they'd be hard pressed to find this in any other group of customers that you might see in Web 2 or traditional loyalty programs. Joey, go ahead. Quick question or comment, and then we'll start talking all things Xeet.
Yeah, I would love for Pawns to weigh in on this, and you as well. Would moving to a more traditional model of, hey, you mint this NFT, or you pay for this NFT for $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, which then gives you access with an additional monthly or annual like a traditional, we always say, country club, right? Like when you join a country club or like even the Disney club, the Disney 33 club or whatever it is, right? Like you pay an initial fee and then you have annual dues. Is it possible, or it doesn't make sense for some of these older NFT projects to say, okay, hey, listen, here's what you get for just holding this NFT. Now, if you want access to A, B, C, and D, there's going to be an annual fee of, call it whatever, $200. And the only way to get access to these things is to pay this annual fee. And the outsiders would look at it and say, okay, so these things are really great. I have to buy the NFT to even be able to pay the $200. Is that a model that could work in this space like it has in traditional membership models?
It could. I don't know as if we've seen any of the NFT PFP brands really lean into that membership approach yet, or the recurring subscription model. not saying it couldn't work. I just, talk about experimenting and trying new things. Pawn's thoughts on that? Do you think going more back to traditional memberships and using that as recurring revenue to drive some of these, perks, utilities, and loyalty rewards, would that make sense?
I think in the long run it would, but not here, not in the current or even the past situation and audience that we're dealing with here. I don't think that would work for the most part. But it does go into a point that I was gonna make as we ended here. I think the brand ambassador loyal group of people that you're talking about are the important ones for each of these brands, and the job is to distill it down, because one of the issues that all these NFT projects, or even a lot of these folks that have done airdrops for communities and those kind of things, they run into is only a small percentage of the people that they're giving all this utility to actually are what you would call brand ambassadors or fans.
Mhm.
And so you've given a lot of money, utility, whatever you want to call it, to transient speculators. And unfortunately, what happens is the people that actually do care about the brand are left bag holding, as they said. And that's a situation almost every NFT project is in, and even a lot of these protocols that have airdropped. And I've seen, I'm a founder, obviously, and being on the side of Xeet and just watching all this other stuff happening, you can see everybody, and I've said this forever, but you can see it across all these different projects and platforms, is you're a genius pre-TGE. Everybody loves you, and you're the next Steve Jobs. And then post TGE, it's a completely different world, and that's the one you have to navigate. Pre TGE, pre mint, all that stuff doesn't really matter. What matters is how it looks, 90 days after that. And that's what you have to do, is just distill it down to the people that actually really care about what you're doing and about the brand.
Agreed. That being said, how might Xeet fix this or make this maybe a little easier solution to identify those true brand ambassadors for these brands? Look, not so they're not just awarding, the random holder who doesn't care, doesn't talk about, doesn't support it. They're just holding the asset. How might Xeet help evolve this?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we'll do is, one of the problems InfoFi had, and that wasn't just Xeet, it was all the platforms, is that it actually didn't solve that problem. It exacerbated the problem. It brought even more transients. Now, again, you had a good base, depending on which platform you use, of people that were genuinely interested in working towards helping that brand out. But under the new scenario, just because of and we were, as we rolled out the Xeet certified creator process before InfoFi got nuked, and we had no warning that was going to happen. Actually, the last conversation we had with Twitter, the legal team and those guys said they were looking forward to building with us. And then it was a little bit over 30 days later, they nuked it. But my point is that even before we knew it was getting nuked, we rolled out the Xeet certified creator process because we wanted to get to the point where we could connect brands with not just creators, but fans, as we call them, that would be interested in what they're doing. It's still going to be a very low percentage just by the nature of the industry that we're in, but it can be much stickier, the user base that we're going to present, and the way that we're going to do it, with focusing on results as opposed to mind share, which even when we were a platform that helped generate mind share, I was very skeptical and outspoken about the flaw of the mind share metric. It's a very flawed metric.
And flawed and challenging, even pre-X nerfing the APIs and pulling that from y'all. I am an advisor for Xeet. This is not a paid sponsorship, but I want to see Xeet do well. There could be some long-term financial benefit for me. So just an effort of full disclosure, there's also a reason that I may agree to that. And the reason I'm a fan of Xeet, because they were moving differently. To me, what they were doing, how they were moving, was very different than the other InfoFi platforms at the time. So much so that a lot of the things they launched, I talked about, aligning with assets they're holding or using the protocol. You saw a lot of other NFT protocols kind of copy pasta or implement some of the things that they were doing differently. They also, I think, I wasn't an InfoFi farmer, but I did have a Kaido account. I did have a Quacks account, and there was a few of those leaderboards I popped on, but mostly just organic, was talking about things I wanted to talk about. I will say, from my perception, Xeet was maybe the only one that really actively nerfed the AI slop, that actually nerfed the farmers before X did anything. Was that a manual process? Were you like, because I can't imagine that was easy to identify who's a real creator versus who's just AI slop farming this stuff. Was that manual, or anything you can add to that process, and how you were even doing that?
Yeah, it was a combination of the data and manual. So myself, Emilios, and Scotty were constantly looking at the leaderboards, the people on the leaderboards, the data, and it wasn't hard to identify most of the slop. It was just a process. And 'cause you can very easily just, it would take maybe 5 seconds of scrolling to know what you were dealing with, in probably 99 out of 10 of the cases. But then some of them were a little bit more. One of the things that our data kept tripping, was what we call engagement. I think Scotty calls them pods. I just call them coordinated engagement groups. Um, and so you've got, there's especially prevalent depending on geography. Like for instance, the group in Turkey has a very coordinated engagement group. They all deny it, and it was very easy to see. And actually, we were, later on, people showed us the group chats that they were in. There's no friends among thieves, as they say. But so there were some very obvious ones like that, but then there were some more nuanced ones, because if you're very prevalent in the NFT community, or a founder in NFTs or whatever, you could look like you have a coordinated engagement group because your community's constantly engaging with you. That's part of one of the benefits of being part of a strong NFT community. So, but it was a combination of the data and the human in the loop, as we said from the beginning. But we nerfed. I don't remember how many, but it was in the hundreds of thousands of accounts, and that's not an exaggeration. It was crazy how much nonsense there was on the timeline. I've equated it to, we set up shop in a burning building and then tried to figure out how to put out the fires.
It's also not lost on me that those seem to be the end of, like, the people who, like, those were the ones who got big time mad when they got nerfed or they got something taken away. Different, but I saw the same thing. Nikita clapping back at someone today because they got their monetization pause and like, oh, you're ruining this. I'm bringing, and he's like, he had a video feed of just scrolling. It was all just slop. It was not, there was zero value added. And those individuals are the ones who get the most vocal and the most upset, and they start fudding Xeet or X because they got caught, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was getting cussed on a daily basis for sure.
Well, respect for continuing to build. I can't imagine the roller coaster and to be building, to be getting some traction, to be doing, having these big plans, and then getting that word from X hard. You could have just, hey, it's over. We no longer have the API. We're shutting it down. And not only have you not done that, this now, my understanding, like the Xeet creator cards, the certified creator cards, or certified creators, as you mentioned, was prior to that. But I have to imagine that the how and how they're, like, what we're going to be doing with these creator cards and what certified creator means. I'm guessing it is different now than when it was prior to X nerfing the APIs, right?
No, it's not much different. The only difference is we can't. We're not going to. Not that we can't. We're not going to track. At least I don't think, we're still debating it. I don't want any reliance on X's API at all. So we might not even track the data. But as far as the posting and those kind of things, but we're still kind of debating that internally, because I mean, it was, for me. We're pressing on and we're moving forward with the strategy, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I was. I almost was ready to just say, you know what, forget it. I don't want to deal with this crap anymore because it's one of those things where we were actually we were winning. We had 10 to 12 clients in the pipeline. We were about to roll out this process, the Xeet certified creator process. Um, we had a good team that was, gelling. We actually have a hire that we never even announced that was managing started managing our socials and those kind of things. But we had, I think we were up to 8 people on the team, and it was time. We were about ready to move into phase 2. So I was pretty irritated and frustrated. But more importantly, we've talked a bunch of times on things that I've worked on in the space. And this Xeet is the latest one, but I've had plenty of failures in Web3. And at some point, I was like, man, I gotta read the signs here because it's just one thing after another. So there was definitely consideration. We actually took the weekend, and I was just sitting in my office and thinking about it, and then it occurred to me that what we were moving towards was very much already this model. I was just, I don't know what you want to call it, emotional, or like an emotional reaction, or just super irritated with all the nonsense. And I kind of let it cloud my mindset there. But yeah,
I mean, would have been understandable if you decided, hey, this was the final shot. We, they killed what we were doing. You said you've had a few failures. You can say that if you want. I'd say learning lessons. And one thing I've been pretty vocal on is, as a space, we really need to start differentiating businesses or models that don't work or don't find product market fit from rugs and grifters. Like, I do greatly appreciate those who continue to look for solutions, bringing their community along. And we do have getting some feedback, or it looks like we lost something on the mic. The comments saying it sounds like you went underwater. I don't know if if something changed on your end, but maybe
I sound like that.
You're back now. Yes.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't know if you did anything, but yeah, back and clear. But yeah, I appreciate and greatly respect the fact that you are still here. You are still building and have taken learnings from everything you've built and attempted to do in this space. Yeah, appreciate the comments. You guys give me some confirmation. Did Pond sounds good? Back good to me again. Is that thumbs up or yeah? Machiavelli says you're good.
Sounds good. I got him.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're good to go. So one thing you mentioned there is like you're not going to. I promised we would attempt to price some alpha out of you, and I don't want you, not trying to put you on the spot, not trying to get you to share anything that is competitive edge or some of the secret sauce. But I'm really curious, how are you going to have these tournaments and these creator campaigns if you're not pulling from X data?
What was the point of, what was the supposed point of people posting on X? It was to generate an action for a brand, right?
Yeah.
Or a result is a better word. Action's not the right word. It was to generate a result for the brand. So if you're measuring the results for the brand, and that's what the tournament's based on, it doesn't mean that people aren't going to post about it. It just means that you're measuring the results of what they're doing, and the attribution of what they're doing, and who's driving the most results for a brand and those kind of things. So all it does is it distills down what we were trying to, again, this is why we were moving in that direction anyways, because it became with what we were doing with Xeet, it became that all we were talking about on the timeline was slashing and nerfing, and I certainly didn't get in this business because I want to be slashing some dude that's going to be cussing me and telling me I'm taking food off his table. So that's that's not the business I want to be in. We want to be in the business of generating results and focusing on that. And a lot of our efforts were focused on the nonsense, as I call it. So that's why we were moving to Xeet Certified Creator, it was good to move our boards to a gated board like they will be now, and just to eliminate all the other crap. So the difference is we're, the results will be what rewards the creators for what they're doing, and not just on X, on many platforms.
So, like, I'm picking up what you're laying down there. Is it like safe to assume like some form of ref code or UTM links or something to attribute whatever the call to action is, whatever
It's a little bit more advanced than that. Scotty's whipped up some really cool stuff that tracks the attribution or what people are doing and how they're doing it. So it's a little bit more advanced than that. Then of course the referral links, still work and ref codes still work. And I'm not saying those won't exist, but I mean, if you think about it, you guys were talking about all the things that people could do with NFTs. And by the way, I jumped on when you were talking about the tickets, and I don't want to digress, but man, I sure wish tickets were on chain because I was. Anyways, don't use
tickets are on chain. Ticketmaster is the number one like NFT creator in all of NFT land.
Well,
They've
hell,
created like millions of
I didn't
NFT.
even know that. I used my wife used StubHub, and I wanted to kill those guys. But anyways, I don't want to digress. But my point is that we're generating these cards are NFTs, and there's that's the top layer of it. But there's also going to be additional tracking that can be attached to these NFTs. So the on-chain attribution is much easier if people are holding an NFT in their wallet and those kind of things. So yeah, there's going to be many ways that we're tracking how the results where the results originate from, and that's how we're going to reward the squads.
I love it. I am also, not to jump ahead here, but to me, seems like this isn't what you're building is not just for crypto brands, not just for those building on chain, but this could transcend far beyond crypto, whether you're talking Web 2 or really any business that wants to deploy some sort of campaign. Is that, I mean, yes,
that's the goal. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. We got into this debate with these guys over the last weekend, and I mean, our goal is to move outside of Web3 for sure. And there's plenty of business here, so we want to do business here and be. And if I'm a brand that wants to succeed in Web3, we want you to use Xeet, but we also want to utilize brands outside of Web3. That was always our goal. We just had to get the model right so that it worked. Like with InfoFi, the way it was. Again, this is why we're moving. One of the reasons why we're moving to the Xeet certified creator process. No Web2 brand, and you're from Web2, and you know this. No Web2 brand is going to deal with people harassing them over $5 or because they got nerfed on Xeet or they don't like the leaderboard ranking. There's zero Web2 brands will deal with that. So that had to be eliminated for us to move outside of Web3, and that's one of the reasons why we were doing it. So once we are comfortable with this model, I've got connections. Other people on the team's got connections to outside of Web3 where we can bring in our first client and test it and those kind of things. And what we're really interested in finding out is with these cards and the on-chain attribution and those kind of things. If they work how we hope they work, then I think that's a very easy sell to creators outside of Web3 also, which is really where we need to be. So inside and outside.
Tell us a little bit about that, because I've seen some people, and I did not listen to Space over the weekend. We talked about it on this show. Some people that were there, by the way, I'm going to say unanimously, everyone had your back and thought some people were just being very rude and unwarranted attacks. Some speculated because they didn't get a creator card and they were just jealous, or they were just wanting to drive engagement.
I don't. Oh, go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll answer that.
I was just going to say that for those that don't have a creator card yet, why should they care?
Okay, yeah. Well, look, I don't think the people I was dealing with over the weekend really cared about the fact they didn't have a creator card. I think there was one or two of them that were genuine in their skepticism of what we were doing. And then, like I think Scott was generally skeptical or, doesn't like what we're doing. But I think that some of the other guys were just there to troll. I don't think they actually even cared one way or the other. They were just trolling. But so I don't think that had anything to do with the creator cards. But so you, as a card holder, you can benefit. That's the short answer. As a card holder, you can benefit as well, and that's why you would care. if you want to be a creator with a card, you're going to have to participate in this process to be a future Xeet certified creator.
Oh, okay.
And then the other part of it is we are not going to, the goal is for us not to choose the next round, the original 400, however they were up to 418 or whatever. I should have another 800. The reason why we didn't launch the cards, one of the reasons why we didn't launch the cards this week is because I've got another almost 1,000 applicants that came in after they saw our timeline. So we want to go through those properly, and then we'll launch the cards next week once we know everybody's got cards. We'll launch the packs next week. I'm sorry. But there's
We kind of lost his mic again. He's kind of away from
Yeah,
it.
he's losing it. Yeah.
Hold on.
Come back to us,
There he is. There he is.
I pace when I'm talking, and so I must have walked out of a range here. But so yeah, you'll have to have a card to be part of the process in the future as well. And our goal is for the initial Xeet certified creator group to help us choose the next rounds.
Very cool. Speaking of those cards, I have held a couple of back. I think I have 2 or 3 left. So my goal is to give those away at the end of the show. I'm probably not going to do it during the show, but if you're interested, drop your request. I'd love to do some swaps, or actually, no, I'm going to give these 3 to people who don't have a creator card and you want to get in. So preferably let me know if you don't have any creator cards yet, let's get you on board. Let's get you in there. And, that is, I think, how you're creating. Also, I wanted to go back to, you said 1,000 applications. We've had some new chains launch recently. The reality is, though, crypto's been kind of boring. We're in this lull, and maybe it's just the bear market. I think it's more, we haven't seen much experimentation or not a lot of new stuff. I am glad to see like the AI slop from, the other InfoFi companies cleared up and not be on the timeline. But you've got some motion there. Like it's bringing some excitement back. Seeing that sort of volume, the people that want to get in is very bullish. What can you tell us about the actual, let's say, are they all going to be tournaments? Is there, like, once these packs go live, once the platform launches, what might we expect, both from the creator standpoint, and then second question to follow up that would be from the card holder or supporter or fan. What are you even calling those individuals? Someone who's participating, they're collecting cards, but they're not yet a quote unquote certified creator yet.
The internal name is fans, but it's hard to come up with those names because I don't know if those are, I don't know if that name's condescending or I don't know what to call them, right? So, but yeah, I think so. Yeah, there'll be tournaments. We've got people that are ready to go from a tournament standpoint. It's just a matter of, like I said, Scotty has been building some cool stuff in the background, not just for brands, but also for creators that can be utilized to help them do a better job and discern information better. He's got some ways where, again, we can track across multiple platforms, not how you would expect it. One of the things that people don't understand about Xeet is they probably never heard of drip. And somebody made this point yesterday on the space I was on, and I didn't get a chance to reiterate it, but Scotty and Tolly have been working on drip for a long time. So a lot of the things that we were able to do quickly with Xeet was because they've already built the infrastructure out. And so a lot of that infrastructure exists that can help us. And Scotty's built some more since we got nuked on the 15th of January or whatever, but we'll have a lot more than just tracking tournaments when the new Xeet launches.
I do have to say, with our Coffee with Captain regulars, there's a lot of Scotty fans. I see GW General Wags out there talking, dropping his bearish gifts. And yeah, I was not aware that Scotty and team was behind drip. Like, this isn't me saying this. This is a lot of, fans of the show. Scotty might be one of the most, if not the most underrated dev in the space. And most aren't aware of all that they've built already. In addition to, some of this sounds like it's going to be used as part of Xeet, but even beyond that, like, really is a world-class team that's done a lot. You talk about experimenting, doing new things on chain. Yeah, Teacher Katie says the drip mechanic is amazing. For those that's the first time hearing, can you expand on what is the drip mechanic? What does that mean?
Yeah, well, actually, when I say drip, it's a whole business. It's not just the one mechanic. They've built multiple mechanics underneath it. But I think probably the one that most people heard about, I think it was last ETH Denver. They had, and actually we used it. No, it was ETH Denver before last, and we used it at NFT Paris last year, where you could actually transmit a transaction through sound. And we were doing coffee purchases in NFT Paris with just transmitting through sound. So that's probably what people are thinking about. But drip itself, it's a very dense platform. It just they didn't take off with a client base like some of the others that you've heard of, and that's you said Scotty doesn't get a lot of credit. I think that's part of why Xeet's probably the most high profile thing that he worked on, and then it got nuked. But assuming that we are as successful as I think we can be with what we're doing, I think you'll get a lot more credit for what he does.
That's awesome. I actually was at NFT Paris, got not one, not two, but we'll just say it was more than 3 coffees, and really cool tech. As someone who spent 20 years in the wireless business and pretty familiar with what that technology can do, it was like I was kind of floored. It was like, oh, this is new. I didn't know you could do this. I didn't know that was drip. I didn't know. I was aware of the technology, but yeah, I hadn't connected those dots either. But yeah, just I'm rooting for this for many reasons, but also I would love to see yourself, some of people like Scotty and these individuals that have continued to experiment on chain, do things differently, lean into the tech, get some what I think is long due credit coming your way, and yeah, that is exciting to hear. So you back to the cards. Creator cards are live. Each certified creator had 24 referrals to give away. Did I see that was is there about a week left? Did it launch last Thursday? And I think you said if you've got 14 days, if any unclaimed after that 14-day period are gone. Is that right?
I don't even know. That's probably Scotty said that way. I don't even remember. I'll ask it.
Yeah, I think Bully said you lose them.
Okay, yeah, I didn't pay attention to that part.
So, but basically, if you have them, you got probably another week. Probably a good idea to give those away. You said that other packs are going next week. We might expect those.
Yeah. Yep.
And just seeing the different levels of packs, rare. I'm trying to pull up the site now. What can you speak to price points or?
I mean, it'll be our intention was always to do it free mint, and then we've talked about maybe charging $5 for the premium pack. We probably won't do that just because I don't want to hear the crap. Pons paid $8,000, so now he's a grifter for selling packs. So we probably won't do that. We'll just use Xeets for minting the premium packs. Like if you earn Xeets prior, then you'll be able to utilize those Xeets to mint packs on the premium packs. Anybody will be able to mint a free pack. But the point is we're not going to accept any money for these packs as we mint them next week, and then it'll increase the supply of creators. We're working through exactly how we want to do that math. We're not. The total circulating supply per creator will be 250, but that won't happen this pack. We don't want to have all the supply out there right now. We want to get things moving and see how it works, and then move into phase 2 after that. So
250 total, or
yeah,
250 common, 250 rare?
No, 250 total.
Okay. And I see, basic, rare, legendary.
Yeah.
When I claimed my creator card, it was a rare, and then all the referrals have been commons. So is there? I assume there's a legendary level as well. Would those be?
Yes, that's correct. Okay. Yeah.
And we hit on this, I think, last week, but I love the inclusion of points, or in this case, Xeets, to use. Ethos. I was talking about their white paper recently, and they shifted to something similar where, yeah, if you want to do anything on the platform, you've got to spend your Ethos points. My question, and this is selfish and certainly biased here, but as someone who, while I was on the platform early, I didn't farm it. I talked about some things. I've accumulated a few thousand Xeets, but nothing remotely close to like the leaderboards. People like Jesus who've been really, really getting after it over there. How much of a disadvantage am I going forward because I haven't stacked a bunch of Yeets? Xeets?
Not a huge disadvantage. No, I mean you wouldn't. We might even put limits on how many packs somebody can get with Xeets and those kind of things. So you're not a huge disadvantage from that standpoint or from a creator standpoint.
Okay.
And in fact, because we're in this new reality, we've got to reconcile all the way Xeets were earned before and how they'll be earned in the future, and just make sure it makes sense from a go forward standpoint.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So like the Xeets that we have, those aren't going away unless you spend them on packs. But there's not a reset's not the right way to say it, but it's, I guess as you launch, are we kind of starting on like if someone's not even created their account yet, like there's still very much so reasons to get started, create an account, and participate going forward, and they're not playing catch up forever with those who have been.
No. Yeah, for sure. No, I would say that the way we'll have to, and I'm shooting off the cuff because we still have to make the final decision on how we do this. But the way to view it is you've got Xeets that were earned in phase 1, which was the InfoFi era, and then you'll have Xeets that were earned in now phase 2, and we'll have to reconcile the math on between phase 1 and phase 2 when the time comes.
Makes sense. Quick question from Hans W in the chat says, when will cards reveal on exchanges or marketplaces as far as like being able to trade or sell these cards?
Yeah, I know Scotty's working on that. I don't know why they're not showing up now. So we've got to figure that part out. But I think it's maybe the protocol we use, which
Pons, they're because I put a post out about this yesterday asking those specific questions, and Scotty immediately replied, and he said that they're going to be working with the OS team, but also these cards are going. A lot of people can't find them, but they're getting sent to your hidden folder. So whenever so if you go to, originally they were popping up right in our wallet when you go to your profile on OpenSea, but now for some reason you have to go unhide them in your in your profile. So
that's
unless
annoying.
it's been updated.
Interesting. Good.
Where's
good
Steve
to know.
at? He's not in the audience anymore. I was gonna get on to him. Where's he at?
Yeah, he had to get back to work, unfortunately, I'm guessing. But I'll relay any messages you'd like.
Yeah, well, we were talking with the OpenSea team, so we'll hit them up in Telegram. But I don't know why that's the case. But we'll get that fixed before next week for sure.
We haven't hit on the chain yet. Launched on Abstract. Is that anything you speak to there? Is it not even necessarily commenting on the chain itself, but is this do you envision going multi-chain? Is the chain important to the project? Is that?
Yeah, so the Abstract team, we've been working with them since before we even talked with Xeet, and before we launched Xeet, we were talking to the Abstract team about it. I know there's always ebbs and flows and the status of these things or these projects, and Abstract hasn't been immune from that as well. I think anybody that's doing business in the crypto space, the assets will be should be omni-chain, multi-chain, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's going to be any different for Xeet. But the Abstract team has supported us, and we want to support them in return. And so that's why we continue to utilize Abstract. I think some of the criticism they get is warranted, some of it is unwarranted, but that's true for everybody that runs a project. So everybody's doing business in crypto needs to be omni-chain eventually.
Yep, I agree. I also think just look at the success Beezy's had in the last months since they went multi-chain. They launched on Blast, and they migrated over to Flow, and they went multi-chain with Base here, I think beginning of the year, and it's just been record week after record week. And the one thing I would add with Abstract is, especially when you start expanding outside of the crypto natives, both for brands and participants, creators and fans, it is, it's super simple. It just works. They've done a good job onboarding, whether it was some F1 competitions or other big brands, and very easy to, I was complaining for first world problems just because it logged me out and I had to go get the code for my email. But it is for someone who's not crypto native, doesn't have a wallet set up, just to be able to do that with your email is is a big benefit, I think, especially when you talk about growth and where you're heading with this. Dejani, I see your hand flew up there. Question for Pons.
Yeah, thank you for getting the mic. I have a question for Bonds. So, can we spend all our seats on packs, or should we apply any tactic behind that? I mean, if we spend all of our seats at once, would that be bad for us?
I don't think you'll, depending on how many seats you have, you probably won't be allowed to mint that many to where you can spend them all. But whether they be bad for you or not, I'd be dumb if I answered that question. That takes all the fun out of it. You got to figure that out.
Oh, so there is a cap on how many we can mint?
There probably will be, yeah.
How about I like that. It makes me feel better. That way, cheeses can't run circles around me.
I had wondered that same thing. I put out several posts. I'm like, okay, should we hold our Xeets for a possible TGE, or should we be buying packs? Scotty said in a reply, I was trying to find it to get the exact quote, but it was like, until they can determine that this is a provable model, it was something along those lines, then they will determine what the future lies ahead as far as the TGE or any tokens associated with it. So for now, it's, you just got to play the game the way you think you need to play it.
I love it.
That damn Scotty ruins all my freaking fun, man. He needs to stop giving you guys information.
Bro, Scotty is the best. Like when
Scotty
you guys were on that,
doesn't know.
yeah, when you guys were on that stage yesterday, I was like, oh, we're not getting shit. And then
Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of still lost up here. I've been
Why?
listening this whole time, and I see Xeet and I see the cards and all that stuff, but like I still don't know really what is going, like why I should want a card, or why I should care, or why I want to be involved.
Machiavelli, just don't ask questions and reveal the card I'm about to send you, and lock in, buddy.
Yeah, who in the hell actually asks questions in this space, bro? You're supposed to click buttons, figure it out later.
I never participated in any InfoFi or nothing. And honestly, when all of these things went down, when they shut down InfoFi, the first person I thought about is Pons, because I've watched Pons in this space and his business acumen and what he did with the plague and making with coffee and all of that. So I was really curious to see him move into this space, and then it completely switch up, and now we're going to like this old style card game or something like that, and it's just I'm just a little lost. I'm sorry,
bro. We talk about this every day in our space, like every day, 30 minutes, 20 minutes on Xeet.
I feel like
you need to listen. Like Pons and them have said from day one they are not InfoFi, so like you categorize them.
I get
there.
that. No.
I get that. They played the game to kind of raise some money in the beginning. You know what I mean? So without having to raise money, essentially, because they were able to kind of do what Kaido and Wall Chain and all these other ones were doing. But the evolution of it was always going to be something bigger, and now we're stepping into that. And you better get the fuck on board, bro.
Well, one of the things...
Yeah, Machiavelli, I just sent you a card, buddy, so now you are obligated to pump my grifty KOL wannabe tweets to Valhalla. You're welcome.
So now everybody's going to get on stage and say they don't know what the hell's going on. Why should they get a card? Because everybody's just sending this guy free cards now. Machiavelli, he gets on here and yells, and now he gets 2 or 3 free cards for the deal.
One of the things I don't think we've hit on yet, Pons, and Cool Chick adds not just why to collect the cards, but says maybe I missed this, but why would I want to become a Xeet certified creator? Can you speak to the rev share split or royalty split? I'm not sure exactly the verbiage, but that was one thing that came to my mind as far as why be a creator if you're going to support these brands, be a brand ambassador. There's also some, not just in earning Xeets and moving up leaderboard, but there's also some financial incentive, no?
Yeah, so let me answer. I gave back a really hard time, but let me answer his question and her question at the same time. So, one, why should you want to be a Xeet certified creator? Well, first, you have to want to be a creator. That's the first thing. Second, the point of Xeet has always been to, democratize influence, decentralize influence, whatever you want to call it. The plague was founded with the ethos of decentralizing opportunity. So one of the things that the influencer market, creator market, whatever you want to call it, inside and outside of Web3, one of the issues with it, and um, I haven't paid for influencers in Web3, but outside of Web3, I have done influencer marketing. And there's a lot of friction there. You don't really know whether you're getting results from these influencers. You have to spend time to vet them, or hire somebody to spend time to vet them. And what happens is, from a brand standpoint, like I said, a lot of friction. You don't really know whether you're getting results. So what we're trying to do is create a result first marketing platform where, instead of taking a $100,000 budget and finding 10, 20 creators, depending on what you're looking at, you put $100,000 pool out there and you pay the people that deliver you results. So one thing that Xeet does, and we're talking Web3 specifically, is we're not it's not our job to manage the deal flow from brands to creators directly, because what happens is you see the same creators getting all the deal flow through agencies, which these guys, whatever, if they're worth it, they're worth it. Every brand's going to make that decision themselves. But this opens up the possibility for people that wouldn't normally get that deal flow to produce results and earn from creating. So that's why you would want to be a Xeet certified creator. If you're already getting plenty of deal flow, doesn't matter, then maybe you don't want to be. Although I would argue it's still low hanging fruit. But that's why you would want to be a Xeet certified creator. Why should you care about cards like Machiavelli? I don't know if you want to be a creator or whatever. Why should you care about cards or what we're doing or those things? Well, there's going to be a large percentage of the population that won't care. But what I would say is that if you are interested in what some of these brands that we launch are doing, then holding a card gives you an opportunity to try them out and potentially get rewarded for doing so. So this is the first stage in what, if you think about, one of the key selling points of the blockchain was, when it first came out, is that you can own your data. You can be brands can market to you and pay you to market to you. And this kind of sets that first stage of that up. There's much more thorough ways to do that. But I mean, I don't know, Machiavelli, did that answer your question? It may not interest you at all.
Honestly, I'm kind of like, and I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm yelling. I yell at everybody. I'm kind of excited about that, the precipice, because I hadn't been looking at it from that viewpoint. Kind of like what this all reminded me of was that card game with all of the influencers before, where they were
Fantasy Top.
tweeting online, and like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm very like, my attention is fleeting because of as much media as we consume. But I'm very, very interested in this, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna participate. Thank you, an idiot. Thank you, Cap, for that rare card. Appreciate you.
Seems very different.
I forgot to comment on that. And one of the things I love about Web3 is, as I'm waiting for my time to speak, you've got to, with a straight face, say you're turning the mic over to an idiot, and that guy's calling himself an idiot, and it's just, everybody's fine with it. It's one of the best things of Web3.
I agree. I'm a big fan of an idiot. Smarter than he likes to let on, I think. I do think, to me, seems very different than Fantasy Top for many reasons. But one thing you mentioned there in past, I just want to double down on, and then we'll go to Cheesus, and then we'll get Proof Alpha Degen in here. And I know Pons is a busy guy, so we will appreciate all his time this morning, and we'll get him out of here before too much longer. You talked about democratizing deals for creators, and while yes, I'm not disputing that. I think the other thing to add on to that would be, what I'm taking out of this is, it's not just these creators aren't just getting rewarded for impressions and views and botted views and botted impressions, rather really driving results, converting whatever they're talking about. Like, that's the biggest takeaway I've got this morning. Is this isn't just like, oh, you're going to talk about this brand and fire off 1,000 tweets and get hundreds of thousands of impressions that half of them are probably bots or people that are just in engagement farming groups and don't really do anything to drive value back to that brand. This is rewarding activity, rewarding actual conversions, and people who can go and do something with the brand. That, I do think, is big for a creator, whether you're getting deal flow or not. Like, I mentioned, we're grateful for the sponsors we have. We're grateful for the deal flow we get. We do work with some agencies, but we've never played the botting games, and I'm not hating the game. I'm not hating the players. It's just something we choose not to participate in. Some choose to bot their tweets and they share that with creators because they somehow think that's helpful. I think if you think about other traditional marketing or Web 2, like those brands don't care how many eyeballs you get if no one takes any action, no one does anything. And I think that's been a big takeaway for me this morning is rewarding not just, I don't want to say pointless impressions and pointless views, but rewarding real action being taken and those that are really driving value to the brands that you're working with.
Yeah, again, that's why when we started Xeet and that initial campaign, I was on here talking to you and Steve, and I said, ultimately, this is where we wanted to get to, because as a person who spends money on marketing, I saw no value in what the other Info5 platforms were doing, or not no value, but little value. Brand awareness, there's a value to that, but there's a value if your brand is made aware to the right people that are actually going to buy your products, and so that's the key. I didn't answer one of your questions. So yeah, so as these cards are sold on the secondary market, if you're a creator, you're doing well, people want your card, they're buying your cards on the secondary market. 80% of the royalties go to the creators directly. We take 20% because obviously there's a cost to run this, and so it's for us. The cards are not a profit maker; they're a top of funnel marketing thing, but they're also the way that we get the one way that we get the on-chain attribution, because all these wallets will have cards, they'll be doing things, and it helps us with the data side.
I love it. Safe to assume that the cards are on a royalty protected contract?
Yes.
Awesome. Love it. Jesus, go ahead.
Yeah, Pons already said it. He literally just said what I was going to say. Because Scotty dropped that in a space over the weekend, I think, about the 80%, which is massive, bro.
Massive.
It's really, really big.
And
that's just one way for them creators to get paid.
I love it. When I asked the question, for some reason in my head, I had 40%. So I don't know where I got that from, but yeah, 80% is huge. Like that is.
Yeah, if you sell a card for 500, one of your cards gets sold for $500, and this was a tweet that I put out, and this may be where you got the 40 from. The creator fees are 10% on the cards, and the team's not keeping all that. You know what I mean? So out of that 10%, you have $40, and that's that's $50, and then you're going ahead and getting 80% of that is really, really big. And if you're performing well and you're whatever the mechanics are, I think you have an opportunity not only to lead your squad or succeed in the prize pool from the brand, but then you have people trading the hell out of your cards as well.
Yep, I can add up, and not to go back there, but for me, it's as much as the actual dollars and cents, the actual monetary gain. It's, I think, even more important, just that alignment and showing that they're not using these cards. First of all, they're not selling them. You're gonna cash out some points. You're gonna cash out your Xeets to get the packs. And then when they do resell, the people on the cards are getting the lion's share of any royalties there. Like that is a sort of alignment when I'm talking about how these crypto native brands, these NFT PFP native brands, the intent to me is as much as the actual dollars and cents. And I don't have any, I'm not expecting to retire off Xeet creator card royalties, but the fact that it's aligned in that way to where it is like Pon said, more of a top of funnel and giving the lion's share to the creators, like, thank you. I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Hey, Pons, I have one question. And in the earlier version of Xeet, Plague and Bearish, there was, because Xeet would detect no matter what tournament or you were in, if you owned an asset, you got multipliers, things like that. Are we going to see any other future rewards or any future things tied to Plague and Bears?
Yeah, for sure.
Great question.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And the other thing that I was going to say is that remember that we're NFT founders first, and so when we're doing these things, for sure, I'm always like, okay, well, if we can do this, it's very easy for us to be able to offer a service to NFT projects where they can utilize what we're doing with the tech and everything we're building to instead of using Z cards or using their NFTs, their PFPs, and creating what we're mechanisms there. That is part of what we're going to do. We just have to launch this stuff. But again, that's everybody on the timeline talk about NFTs are dead and those kind of things. I don't think they're dead. I think our vision of them or what the market thought they were in the past is dead. But I think there's plenty of we're not early. I won't say that, but we're early into what NFTs will be because there's even though NFT founders get a lot of crap, there are a lot of teams out there that are trying to figure out ways to sustain the brands and do cool things. It's just like anything else, it's easier said than done.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm asking for NFT utility. I think next on my shopping list is a bearish because it's exactly what if it's a 0.07 ETH floor, am I expecting 0.07 ETH of value returned? No, but it's also, this is just one element. Like there's a lot that can come with supporting a good builder, supporting ones that continue to ship, do new things, experiment on chain. And oh, by the way, they're doing what I asked and being aligned with their holder base, providing extra utility, sister companies, whatever you want to call it, but working with third parties to drive value accrual back to the holders. I'd like to see a lot more of this. Proof Alpha DJ, I don't see the hand, but did you want to get in here with the final question for Pons?
Yeah, I did. Thanks for letting me up. I heard the token talk a little bit earlier, and there was a little bit of uncertainty on how that would roll out, blah, 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 blah. And I just wanted to know, because it made me think, I usually, in the real world, I always ask about a 2, 5, and 10-year goal when I'm talking business or something that's revenue model and what have you. And I just wanted to ask if anybody has thought through or talked through your 1, 3, and 5 and how that may look as far as your actual revenue model, not necessarily token talk, but it just made me wonder, has that conversation been had? And if so, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know that we've defined it as 1, 3, and 5, but we have a written document on what we want Xeet to be. And so what we're seeing today is what we would call the top layer. And again, layers used too often here in the space, but I don't have a better descriptor for it at this point. If you go back to what I said, there's plenty of what we're doing now is marketing, right? We're creating distribution for brands and those kind of things. That's a big industry, and there's a lot of money to be made there. I would argue that it's going to continue to grow, especially with anybody now being able to create an app. Which, when I say anybody, I mean anybody. I'm creating an app for myself that I would have paid $30, $40 a month for because it works exactly how I would want it to work for me. And I've created it for, on the side as I'm traveling on a plane, I'm on Telegram talking to my bot and telling what I want. It's building the app for me. So that's going to be the new normal. And if people want to sell their apps, they're going to need distribution. So the marketing side of things, the distribution side of things is going to be a continually growing industry. So that would be the top layer. Underneath that is all of the data and attribution data that we get as part of this process. And that in and of itself is an entire industry. And then there's I think was going to be a growing need for maintaining your on-chain credibility. And, not just from getting reviews from other people, but actual real credibility backed by data. And that in itself is another industry as well. So there's tons of potential. It's just, we have to get off the starting gates without getting the rug pulled up underneath us for a good duration of time, branch out outside of Web3, and then we can start building onto the other things. But yeah, I mean, it's cliche, but the possibilities are endless. It's just a matter of making it happen.
Love it. Pons, is there anything, I really appreciate your time this morning. Apologies for keeping you longer than we initially intended, but is there anything we didn't cover yet? Anything that you were hoping to share with the audience? Any final words, closing comments?
No, I appreciate the time and the conversation as always.
Yeah, pleasure's ours. I'm excited. I think there's a lot of excited people in not just the audience today, but it's refreshing to see something new and not making this PvP. But I don't know. I mean, I know they've done some different stuff, going some different ways, but the other quote unquote Info5 platforms, I would be surprised if at least a few of them are even a thing at some point in the future. So much respect for continuing to press forward despite some curveballs from X. And I actually think that while I'm sure it was very frustrating and had to, change how you were doing things, I think there's a world where it might be the best thing that happened for Xeet. And now there's much more of a moat, right? Less competition because it's not easy doing what you're building.
No, and that's usually how things work out. I mean, I've said this over the years. It's like even though I was super irritated, there was more context behind that irritation. But the most of the success I've had has stemmed from some setback or failure that made me pivot, both from a career wise and just personal and those kind of things. So no doubt it could end up being the best thing for us. We could get rugged another way and have to figure out how to pivot there, but that's just the way it works.
Yeah. Yep. Well, again, much respect. Appreciate you, all you're doing for the space. And shout out to the team as well. Send my best to Tully and Scotty. And it is really appreciated that you all continue to build. You're experimenting. You're doing new stuff. It's more of this from crypto native brands. I would love to see not just the same copy pasta or forks of something we've seen a dozen times before. It's hard to build new stuff. And it's even harder to make everyone happy when you have thousands of stakeholders at some degree, whether they're NFT holders or active participants on a platform you built previously. So keep pressing forward. Greatly appreciate it. And I did appreciate everyone who requested cards. At random, I picked 3. Those should be in your DMs. You've got till Monday morning to claim them. If they're unclaimed, I will pick some new winners on Monday. But Pons, really appreciate your time today. I'll have a audience. You don't have to go anywhere else. I got a couple other unrelated topics to close out on this Friday to set up Monday and some weekend activity. Also looks like we got maybe some breaking news. I don't know what this means, but it looks like Supreme Court just struck down the tariffs. So that we talked
means pamp it.
we talked about volatility today and this weekend from aliens to Iran, and now apparently just add tariffs to the mix as well. So
no, that's gonna make my Web 2 thing crazy now for sure. I mean, I dealt with all that crap last year now. Yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun. So I didn't know that, but now I know what my phone calls are going to be all day today. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. And it's like Pons goes from like, hey, we're talking, everyone's excited about Xeet, and this is a good call. Now I just gave him some news. He's going to have maybe some mini fire girls to deal with after we drop the show. So
no doubt about that. Yeah.
Good luck with all that. And we are excited for all to come with Xeet, and appreciate all your time today. Thank you very much for all that you do. And we'll have to do this again sometime after things get kicked off. I'd love to have you back on. And after this, after the packs, everything gets out in the wild, we'll have to run this back.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate the time as always. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.
Have a good one. I wasn't going to talk tariffs. I just saw that. Shout out to Mayhem for dropping that in the war room chat. I don't know what it means. I just did a quick look. It doesn't look like we've seen any immediate price action. I was looking for a candle one way or the other, and I don't see anything instant. But the one thing I am sure of is probably going to see some volatility over the next few days, as hopefully there's no alien invasions. But it is.
I mean, BTC's up 0.5% in like the 10 minutes since that announcement came out.
Okay, I'm lagging a little bit. So no tariffs is bullish for Bitcoin. Maybe we will see, but certainly big news.
How does he get back all the money?
I don't know, man. I'm not a geopolitical expert. I'm not a tariff expert. I'm a little. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised, actually. I did not. I knew it was a potential outcome. I didn't think. If you had to ask me, I wonder what. I wonder what it's changed now. So I'll see if I can go find the Poly market, it's now obviously already 99, 100%. I was trying to see the chart to see what it was, but it's not. It's just they're all showing 100% right now. I don't even see the chart. Let me see if I can find it on Kalshi. Does anyone know what was the Supreme Court ruling trading at prior to that announcement coming out?
About them like knocking these down?
Yeah, it looks like so. I Poly markets, the charts are gone, but if I go to Kalshi, it looks like they obviously they've ripped up to 99, 100% now. But I'm trying to. Okay, so the before March 1st was like 41%. Before April 1st was 73%, and before February. Before tomorrow, it was 22%. So some people printed on that today. That tells me it was kind of a surprise. I don't think anyone was actually expecting it to happen today. It was likely to happen before April 1st and a little less than 50-50 before March 1st, but only 22% before today. So big news there. Some people printed on Kalshi, and while not a ton of volume, this was, I think it's safe to say, unexpected that we got the news today. Seemingly expected before April, but came a little early. Who knows? Maybe they're all in cahoots. Obama, Trump, the Supreme Court, they're all just throwing as many distractions as they possibly can to get the eyes off the predators. That said, I do have one other giveaway here today, a little gift courtesy. It's a Friday. So I just got word from the pilot over at Night Gliders. We've got one guaranteed allow list for an upcoming mint here for these Night Gliders. You can see it on the screen if you're not looking in. It says, trainers have stepped from their shadows, no longer watching, but bonded. Their ranks will be scarce. United with Gliders, awaken the Nocta Fruit's full power. Interact below for your chance to earn a place. This thing cooked. This was just went out a few days ago. Already 36,000 impressions, 3,100 likes. Here's a GIF of what you might be able to mint. So it seems in pretty high demand. The gliders are a very active, vibrant community over there on Ape Chain and other side. And yeah, if anyone's interested, let me know in the chat. Drop a comment. Say you'd like a glider, and I will at random pick our three winners there. Again, it's one person will get a guaranteed spot on the allow list, and then I've got two other first come first serves. So yeah, just drop me a quick chat. I will hit you up. I think I need to get I'm guessing your wallet address, EVM wallet address. So yeah, do that. If you want this, drop an EVM wallet address in the chat. I'll pick three of you here at random once we wrap the show. But drop that now. That way I know who is interested. I will look Abstract, YouTube, and X Spaces chat. Cool chick, Diego, I got you. Not saying that you get it for sure, but I did see your interest. Back to the Mike, Mindify. I see y'all out there. Anyone else that's interested, drop your interest. Let me know you're interested. I don't want to pick someone who's not interested, but yeah, we'll give those three winners. I'll hit you with a DM following the show. Zonko adds, in his opinion, this Supreme Court decision is already priced in. 2 cents is that it is not bullish for Bitcoin. Any counters to that? Anyone think that this decision is bullish for Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Every time somebody says something's priced in, I think back to a tweet from 4 years ago of Franklin, where he said everything is priced in. Everything's already priced in 20 years from now. And I'm like, that's what I think back to. But who the fuck? Bro, nobody knows. If anybody knew, nobody would be here. You'd be some hidden Bitcoin billionaire sitting on an island. Not Epstein's, but on an island.
Mayhem said, because someone asked about what do they do with the money they collected. Apparently they didn't even address the refund of what they already took. So again, I don't know what to think. Not my area of expertise by any stretch of the imagination. And
there's no way for them to go back and get billions of dollars that Trump's already allocated or put to other different places. And there's no way. So if they shut them down, then that's what happens. But
would be my assumption as well. Is it's a going forward, no more tariffs. I don't know how they could go back and collect those and refund it. That seems pretty challenging.
But to what details though? Because there's always tariffs with any country. Like most of the countries, these tariffs are there for they're there anyways. Whether it's 5%, 7%.
Yeah,
we'll put a tariff on Britain, and then they come back and put a tariff on us. But it's not to the extreme like Trump is doing.
Yeah, I think the difference is Trump being able to just wave his wand and decide that the tariffs are as he deems them to be. And again, obviously, an idiot speaking here who said adamantly earlier, I know nothing. But markets seem to not like uncertainty.
Yep.
Right. So the fact that this kind of swats down the idea of Trump just being able to pick up that magic wand might negate a bit of uncertainty from the markets, perhaps. That's what I would say.
I think I agree with that. I think that while Zonka's probably right, especially if it was 80% expected by April 1st, probably priced in to some degree. But I think what might not be priced in yet is a little more certainty. We still have uncertainty globally from Iran to aliens and everything in between. But I think this is one thing that was like hanging out there that markets just didn't know the full outcome. And it's like they checked the box. Okay, we're at least certain now that these tariffs are going away. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people that know a lot more about tariffs and geopolitics and macroeconomics that if you want to have more of those conversations, I'm sure you can find a space or two on it today, or you'll see some Twitter articles. Probably both. But I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious what the impact is, both for markets as well as consumer goods and budgets, governments, all that. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised we got the news today, and I'd say buckle up, because I do think we're going to get more news today. I think those alien files will probably drop around between 4:30 and 5. And should lead to an interesting weekend. So I'm here for it. I'm curious what will be revealed. I don't think it's going to be everything, but I will. I'm going to nerd out on some alien stuff over the weekend. Appreciate all the alien movie and show recommendations. Joey gave me a list of like 37 movies, I think, in the. No, it's not even a list. It's simply the Alien vs. Predator timeline. I had no idea that the Alien vs. Predator timeline was on par with like MCU. I had no idea there was almost 20 of these things. I had no idea it was that big. So thank you for sharing that. And I could spend more than a weekend just in Alien vs. Predator alone. So all that said, I really appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate the love on the space. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate everyone who joined us on stage. Great conversation with Pons today. Great conversation regarding aliens and NFT utility prior to Pons joining us. And I don't know what to expect from tariffs or aliens or any of that. But as long as the aliens don't wipe internet from us, we'll be back Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time, every Monday through Friday. And actually, that's my last ask for you as we play the outro here. I have a link up top for Monday's show. Really excited. We're bringing NFT royalties back. And we're going to tell y'all how with a special guest on Monday. If you've not yet hit that reminder for Monday's show, we'd greatly appreciate it. We'd love to have another full house for our Monday guest. That's pinned up top. We'll be back Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everyone.